If you're wondering which is better between traditional publishing and self-publishing, then this video is for you. I'm going to break down the pros and cons for both and what I personally recommend. So if you're new to the channel, my name is Sean and I've made well over 7 figures from my own publishing business. So if you want no BS publishing advice from someone who's actually doing it, then make sure to subscribe. So in this video, we're going to be talking about traditional publishing versus self-publishing and which one is better. Now, for a long time, traditional publishing was the only option to get your books out there. But with the rise of self-publishing in recent years, this has been really disrupting the landscape. And self-publishing has been becoming more and more popular over recent years. So both options has pros and cons. So which one is better? Well, let's start with the traditional publishing process. So when it comes to traditional publishing, you first have to secure a literary agent who will pitch your manuscript to the publishing company or the publishers on your behalf. So if you are accepted, then you will sign a contract. And usually these traditional publishing companies will then offer you help with producing these books as well as marketing the book. So they will offer you services like editing, also designing the book cover, designing the interior. Also, once the book is published, they'll do the marketing and the distribution for you. Now, they also help you distribute to bookstores. So if you want your books to show up in physical bookstores, then traditional publishing is a good option. But this is a pretty lengthy process. So this process takes usually 1 to 3 years on average. Now, compared to that with self-publishing, you can go through the Amazon KDP platform, which is a completely free program where you can sign up anytime. It's free. It's free to upload your book. There's no monthly fee. Nothing. So it's 100% free. And once you upload your book there, within 1 to 2 days, your book will be approved and will be available for purchase on Amazon.com. You will have full control over literally everything. So when it comes to your pricing of the book, how you market the book, how you design the book cover, format the book, the content inside, everything is within your control. So in terms of the pros of traditional publishing, the biggest one is that you have access to established distribution networks. So these publishing companies essentially will help you distribute your books to different bookstores if that is important to you once again. Now, it's not a guarantee. Just because you sign a contract doesn't mean that you will always show up in physical bookstores like Barnes & Noble. So, it's a little tricky there. It depends on the contract. They also give you access to the professional team, such as editing the book for you, designing the book cover, designing the interior, and marketing the book. However, as I will talk about this later on, these things aren't that hard to do by yourself. So, editing the book yourself, designing the book cover, you can actually do this yourself very easily or just hire somebody for very cheap. So is it worth giving out 90% of your ongoing royalties for something like this, for getting help with these things? That is something for you to decide, which we're going to once again talk about it. But you also will have the prestige and credibility of being backed by a known company. And if that's important to you, that's cool. For me, making as much money from my work is more important than being famous or, the whole prestige thing that I get. I never really care for prestige, but everyone's different. Now, you also get, once again, easier access to physical bookstores through a traditional publishing company. Although I do have a couple students of mine who published through the self-publishing route and have their books show up in physical bookstores. So it is possible, it's just harder. So the cons of traditional publishing is essentially higher barriers to entry. You have to be known already. You have to have some kind of audience or credibility for these companies to even want to work with you. You basically cannot be a nobody and approach this company and expect to get some kind of contract. They want to see that you have a proven record, whether in writing other types of books or credibility in other fields, such as you already have an audience. Right? Even if you do sign a contract, it is, again, a very long process just to get everything approved and working with the company. You will have limited creative control and you will have lower royalties, often 10 to 15% or even lower, which means that the company is taking 90% of ongoing royalties forever for doing these work for you, such as helping you create the book and marketing it. But is that worth it? I don't know. When it comes to self-publishing, the pro is that you got full creative control. It is a much faster publishing process. Instead of 1 to 3 years, we're talking literally days, couple days, right? If you already have the book file. If you have to create the book yourself, that definitely takes longer depending on how fast you can write the books. But it is way faster than going through a traditional publishing company. Now you will have much higher royalties. So you will get up to 70%. Basically, when you sell a book through the Amazon KDP program, if you sell an ebook, then you can keep 70% and Amazon takes 30%. Now, if you sell your books on Amazon through a publishing company, because even if you go through a publishing company, they will still send it to Amazon, which means that Amazon takes the cut and then the publishing company will take the cut and you will be left with a very, very small percentage. Now with self-publishing, it is easier access to niche markets. What I mean by this is if you want to publish a book on, let's say, this topic, but you also want to go publish a book on another topic, you can pivot, different niches like that very easily because it's really up to you. Now, the cons of self-publishing is that you do not have any upfront support. You do everything yourself. Some people like that. Some people don't like that because they don't have confidence in what they're doing. So if you want some support, traditional publishing companies do help. However, nowadays, there are a lot of resources online that you can learn from as well. Another con is it's harder to get into physical bookstores, although it's possible, as I mentioned earlier, and marketing is entirely your responsibility. So which one should you go with? Now, obviously, if you're trying to make a career out of this, the big question will be which one will make you more money. And if you compare both options side by side, in terms of royalties per sale, you will make way more with self-publishing. However, with traditional publishing, they can help you reach a wider audience because they do market the book for you. However, you have to understand that if they were willing to sign with you when it comes to a book deal, that means you already have an audience yourself. Right? So that means that most of your sales are probably going to come from your own audience anyways. And the traditional publishing company's effort to market your book may get you more sales, but the majority will probably come from your own effort of marketing the book. I see a lot of people sign a book deal with these companies, and yet they're still the ones marketing their books on YouTube and other social media platforms. I think a lot of people overestimate how much these companies do for you. As a quick side story, I did something similar to this, but not in the publishing industry. I had another business, a different product, and I signed with an agency where they promised that they will market this product for me that I created, and they will pay for all expenses and will split the profit. So I thought, based on what they promised, they will do a lot of work for me. And if they're getting a lot of sales, I didn't mind getting a smaller cut. But what ended up happening is I basically was making most of the sales from my own audience that I already had before partnering up with this company, and they basically did nothing. Like, they did try to market it, but they weren't successful with it. So I ended up generating most of the sales myself, and they just took a huge cut of it. So I just got screwed over. So obviously that's just one company. Maybe I got unlucky, who knows? But it's definitely something to consider. Now, compared to that with self-publishing, you will have to put in the work. You will have to put in, the investment up front, but you'll be keeping more of the profits. So if the book does do well, then you'll make more money directly from the books. So for most authors, especially if you're new or you don't have an established audience, then the self-publishing route will give you a better chance of making money. As an example, if you're curious how much you can actually earn with self-publishing, this is an example of a person. This is actually a pen name of someone that publishes books in the kind of a self-help topic. And I have this tool called Katie Spy that tells me how much these books are making in revenue. And essentially, just from the paperback version, he's making over $60,000 per month, not counting the couple thousand from hardcover, couple $100 from Spiralbound, another $61,000 from audiobook versions, and another $4,000 from Kindle. So this one brand is doing over $120,000 per month. This is another example of a self-publisher, right? Someone who self-published their books, and they're also doing $23,000 in a single month just from 4 books. Hardcover does another $3,600, audiobook another $11,000, and ebook another $6,000. Now, if you're curious what books are going through publishing companies and what books are self-published, it is as simple as clicking on the book. And you just want to scroll down a little bit until you see this section called product details. Now you can see that under publisher, it says independently published. That means this person's self-published. If they did go through a publishing company, it'll show the publishing company's name here. So in terms of the publishing landscape now, self-publishing your book allows you to go into specific niche markets that are often overlooked by a large publisher, because usually with publishing companies, they want to go into a niche that is more of a mass market appeal. So if you do want to publish a book that's kind of in a niche subject, then self-publishing is a great option. As I just mentioned, traditional publishing, they do focus on primarily targeting topics that has a mass market appeal. So it is suitable for genres like commercial fiction and popular nonfiction topics. So in summary, which one should you choose? Well, traditional publishing is probably for you if you're an author who wants to focus solely on writing. You also want to prioritize reputation over revenue, because as I mentioned earlier, the company is going to take a huge chunk of royalties, so it's a lot harder to make money directly from the books, right? So you will sell a lot of copies. Your name will be known in the space, but it's often harder for you to make money directly from the books. But what a lot of people do is they have back-end products and services, meaning they could have some kind of coaching services. Let's say the person is a relationship coach. So from the book itself, they don't make a ton because the publishing company takes a huge chunk. But from the books, a lot of people reach out and get their relationship coaching services, right? So they make money that way. But in terms of directly making money from the books, it's definitely harder. Lastly, if you're an influencer with a large following and you don't have to deal with the whole book creation process or the marketing process, then signing a contract with a publisher might make sense. So what about self-publishing? Who is it for? Well, if you want full control of the process from start to finish, if you have an entrepreneurial mindset, if you think you can figure it out yourself, this is for you. And it's not that hard doing this yourself. If you are new and inexperienced, if you don't have any audience, then obviously you will kind of have to go with this route until you prove yourself to, get signed with a publisher. And also if you want more profit directly from the books. Now, personally, I've stuck with self-publishing and it has produced me really great results. As I said earlier, that I've made well over 7 figures from my own books and actual royalties. I also have a course and a coaching program teaching people how to make money through self-publishing. And I do have a lot of testimonials on the website. If you guys want to check it out, it is the first link in the description. But if you scroll down a little bit, there are a lot of testimonials of people making thousands of dollars every single month. Like Megan over here doing over 10K a month, Valerie doing over $5,000, Yasir over here making over $1,000 in a month, Wenyan made over $2,500 in a single month from just one book, and a lot more like this. So I'm a huge believer in self-publishing. It absolutely changed my life, but also a lot of my students' life as well. And that's what I teach on this channel. Now, if you guys are interested in joining the program, once again, the link is in the description and you can apply to join from this form right here. But if a program is too much for you and if you just want to start with something easy, I got a bunch of tutorials. It's all free on YouTube, so you can check it out. Also, I do have a challenge called the 7-Day Book Challenge, which you can follow me along over 7 days from researching and writing and publishing the book on Amazon, all within 7 days. If you're interested in joining the challenge, the link is in the description as well. So with that being said, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something. If you liked the video, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't yet. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.